So you study your butt off for the PTE and the results come back unchanged. Could it be that you were putting your focus on the wrong tasks or modules? I'm going to give you my take on the scoring system. I say my take because I don't work for the PTE, so I have no way of knowing. However, I will use numbers to back up what I have to say. How can I improve my score? If you are watching this is probably a question you have asked time and time again. What I'm going to do is give you a detailed analysis of the point system breakdown. I will compare the scoring for all 4 modules, then give you a little checklist on whether or not you should be doing self-study or attending classes. Are you ready? This can get a bit confusing. Maybe you want to take notes. Pause the video first to get something to write with. Let's get to it. If you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. That makes sense, right, for the PTE? The scoring for the PTE is complicated. It's not like the IELTS. If you do poor in listening in the IELTS, then you know you need to improve listening. In the PTE, it might not be the listening module at all. This is the point of reference I want to use. First of all, this score is nothing special. There are some paid mock exams out there that also provide a score for you. You can take those at your own risk. This mock exam is provided by Pearson, the people who make the PTE. I use these exams to test my templates, and these exams are not free. For those who have not taken these exams before, they are about $50 Australian each. I make sure my templates are working here before I use them on a real exam. So I know all the answers to these exams. I am not showing you this score to show off or anything. Before we start, I just want you to see that I have the answers for the reading and the listening. And for the speaking, I use my templates for the describe image and the retell lecture. Now, take a look at the results here. Most of us are aware that the speaking influences reading and listening. I took this exam to see the actual influence. I only did the speaking here. I did not answer any questions in the listening, reading, or writing. I skipped everything. There goes my $50. But what did we learn here? Speaking accounts for pretty much half of the listening score. And speaking accounts for roughly 33% of the reading score. So sometimes if you're lacking in the listening or the reading, it might not be those modules that you need to improve. Not only that, for some strange reason, speaking gives you points in the spelling too. As you can see, you will get a good chunk of the vocabulary points from speaking. Still with me? This is just the beginning. Since I know I can get 90 in speaking, I wanted to get a better understanding of the scoring for speaking. I know I use my templates for the describe image and retell lecture, and the content is completely nonsense. Can I do the same for the read aloud? So, let me explain what I did here. First, I wanted to see if I could say something completely wrong for the read aloud and repeat sentence. In those 2 tasks, I gave all the wrong answers, completely wrong, on purpose. However, I gave the correct answers for the describe image and retell lecture. I don't mean correct, I just used my templates, the same ones that I used to get 90 before. This was the score I received. Not only that, look at my fluency and pronunciation. I'm going to come back and explain this more in a bit. Let me tell you what I did for the writing. I used all of my templates. I did not write anything original. Earlier you saw I got 90 in writing with the same templates, but that was because I got 90 in listening and reading. Here I got 40. Either my templates stopped working or the writing itself doesn't mean a damn thing. But also, pay attention to my enabling skills for writing. I'll be coming back to compare them in a bit. Now, since my speaking dropped so much without doing the read aloud and repeat sentence, it's time to do it the other way around. I took the test again doing the opposite for the speaking. I did something a little different for the writing as well, but let's talk about the speaking first. This time around, I did the read aloud and repeat sentence correctly, the same way I did it when I got the 90. However, this time I skipped all of the describe image and the retell lecture. I did answer the answer show questions this time too. And look at what happened. My speaking score increased. Still not back to 90 status, but this is because I skipped all of the describe image and the retell lecture. That is actually not the most significant change. My fluency and pronunciation went up dramatically. It would appear almost, if not all of my pronunciation and fluency points came from the read aloud and the repeat sentence. The answer show question doesn't score pronunciation or fluency, so we knew that from the get-go. I will do a direct comparison next, but first let me explain what I did in the writing this time. I wrote the exact same thing. The enabling skills for the writing didn't change much. It was the same test, so the questions were exactly the same. But in addition to the writing, I also completed the write from dictation. I know the answers, so I got full marks on the write from dictation. By answering the write from dictation, my score went up to 65. I did not answer any other questions in the listening or reading. Therefore, you can see that write from dictation accounts for about 30% of the writing score. There's 25 more possible points out there, and you're not getting it from the writing. We still have reading and writing fill in the blanks and listening fill in the blanks. Both contribute to the writing score. It would appear that the writing module itself provides roughly only 40 points. What are your thoughts on that? Alright, let's get some perspective. At the top, I faked the read aloud and the repeat sentence. I gave all the wrong answers. I did the describe image and retell lecture correctly and skipped the answer show question. I got 20 points in the speaking. At the bottom, I did the read aloud and the repeat sentence and the answer show questions the same way when I got the 90 in speaking. However, I skipped the describe image and the retell lecture. I received more points for the speaking when read aloud and repeat sentence were done properly. But that was not the biggest surprise. I got 90 in fluency and 76 in pronunciation, even though I skipped describe image and retell lecture. What does this tell us? If you see a low speaking score and low oral fluency and pronunciation, that probably means your read aloud and repeat sentence needs some improvement, and vice versa. If you have high fluency and high pronunciation and low speaking, that probably means your describe image or retell lecture needs some improvement. Now let's take a look at the writing. 40, give or take a couple points, would appear to be the peak from the writing. I thought it would be more, but basically the writing module doesn't account for more than 50% of your writing score. The rest will come from the listening and the reading. In addition to that, we can see that write from dictation accounts for about 30% of the writing score. Let's say you miss one sentence. That is about 10% of your score. You'll be hovering around the 80 mark now in writing. That is if you are perfect in all the other tasks that contribute to the writing. How do you know if you need to improve writing or other modules? Check the grammar and written discourse. If you have high grammar and high written discourse, but a low writing score, chances are that it is not the writing that needs improving. That leads me to the next topic. How do listening and reading play out in this? Earlier I showed you how the speaking affects the listening and the reading. By getting 90 in speaking with 90 in fluency and pronunciation, I also got 31 in reading and 47 in listening without answering any questions in those modules. Now, let's do it the other way around. In this exam, I answered all of the listening and reading questions except for the summarized spoken text. I used all the same answers from when I received 90 in listening and reading from the beginning, remember? This time around, I did not do any speaking or writing. Both listening and reading are around the 50 mark. Look at that writing. That is almost a 7 in IELTS without actually writing anything. I got 62 points in writing from doing the listening and reading perfectly. But where are the rest of my points in listening and reading? I didn't answer any of the questions incorrectly. So let's do a comparison. The top is the one we were just looking at. I only did the listening and the reading, but was only able to give 50-something points. The bottom is from when I only answered the speaking, but did not answer any listening or reading questions. When we add up the listening, that is about 90 in total for the listening, right? It does seem like there are actually more than 90 total possible points. I have had students in the past tell me that they messed up on certain questions, but still the results came back with 90. Now, let's add up the reading. By doing the reading perfectly, I got 53 points in reading. And from getting 90 in speaking, I received 31 points in reading as well. But that doesn't add up to 90. We are forgetting one more thing. We know that 31 in reading came from the read aloud. Remember when I did the exam and didn't get any points from the read aloud? Here it is. The remaining points to hit over 90. These 15 points were from my summarized written text. And we know that. We know that the summarized written text contributes to the reading. Now we know roughly how much. I did the exam with all my writing templates and said everything wrong for the read aloud and repeat sentence. Maybe I got a couple points from the read aloud, but I would say most of it came from the summarized written text. There is your 90. Is this making sense? I know we're testing English, but I'm over here talking about math. My bad if I'm losing you. Play it back like it's your new favorite song and see if you can follow me. Finally, let's get to the writing. The module is writing, but you get more points for that module from other modules. Say it ain't so. Again, the top one is from when I only did the listening and reading. The bottom is from when I didn't do any listening and reading. Oftentimes when your writing score is low, it's not the writing that you need to improve. Next time, take a look at your enabling skills. All the information is there. As you can see, the speaking and writing contributes to pretty much all of your other enabling skills. Did this make any sense to you? Well, I hope so. Otherwise, this is probably the face you're making right now. How do you assess your needs? How do you know what to improve? Hopefully, after this video, you can take a look at your communicative skills and determine your weaknesses through the enabling skills. Remember, the communicative skill that you're lacking in might not be the module that you need to improve. If your strengths are in listening and reading, then you are in an excellent position. You can probably just study on your own. Some of the speaking tasks can be taken care of through templates, but the read aloud and repeat sentence cannot. From what we saw earlier, those are quite important. You will need someone that can actually teach you how to speak and read properly and not just tell you to speak naturally. That is not teaching, that is just telling you the instructions from the PTE. If your weakness is listening and reading, then there will be some studying involved. Most of the hard work will come from you. Some places will give you a test bank and ask you to memorize all the previous exams. Good luck with that. Cross your fingers and hope that you get the questions that repeat. And again, is that really teaching? You can get those test banks online and memorize them at home by yourself or with friends. Now, as far as writing goes, don't overwrite it. More is not better. Keep it simple. You can definitely use templates. We have been using my templates on all of the writing for quite some time now, and we're able to get over 79. That is not just a mock exam, that's the real exam. Get someone to proofread your writing or get some templates. Writing is probably something you can improve on your own. There you go. Done. I hope this was helpful. You have questions? Hopefully I have answers. You can hit me up on my Facebook page. If you liked the video, then give me that thumbs up. Please remember to subscribe to my channel. Peace.